I'm in business.
So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm Karen Gates. I'm the town administrator for the town of Ordway. I just want to say welcome to the first ever Meet the Candidate forum that we are having for the local election. I just want to lay a few ground rules before we get started. Each candidate will have 3 minutes to introduce themselves and tell the audience what position they are running for and why they are running for office. Responses will be kept professional and no cursing will be allowed. Audience members will be given the opportunity to ask questions of the mayor candidates and or trustee candidates. Candidates will be given a 3-minute response time and responses will be timed. Once the 3 minutes are done, you will be asked to refrain from responding. Please refrain from interrupting the audience or candidates when they are speaking. No inappropriate behaviors or outbursts will be tolerated. So we'll start with Mayor Barber.
I'm Jerry Barber. I've been the mayor the last 4 years. I'm running for re-election. I think the results, if you see around town, kind of speaks for what's went on the last 4 years between the removal of houses, trailer houses, working on the trees, etc., etc. So I just like to keep that momentum going for another 4 years. Kind of excited what we've done the past 4 years and maybe where we can be in the next 4 years if we can finish getting rid of the trees. And this year we have just finishing up on five more homes on demolitions. We have a little bit of paperwork to do on that, so we'll get another 5 houses out of the way this year. So we're kind of excited about what's been going on.
Tracy Pepper, and I've been a trustee for the last 4 years and lived in Ordway about 6 years now, and this is where I plan to stay. And I got on last time because I just want this town to thrive and I want to continue what we've had going the last 4 years.
I'm J.C. Watkins. A lot of you know me already. I got on the board back in 2018, 2019, somewhere in there as a replacement. I've been on ever since. I grew up here. I left in '65. I came back in 2010 after I retired, and I just wanted to do something for the town.
My name's Cassandra Beal, but everybody calls me Casey. I work at Hotel Ordway. I've worked there since 2018. I love Carol and Tom. I love this town. I love the community. My granddaughter goes to school at Crowley County. She's in kindergarten. My youngest just graduated 2 years ago, and she was salutatorian. Her name was Elizabeth Beal. I'm really proud of how well this community is. I want to get more involved. I want to help our community in ways. And when I seen that it was trustee's position open, God told me that, hey, you can help your community. Get out there, do something for us. So I would really like to be a part of this change and keep the locomotive going. Sorry.
I'm John Love. I'm running for mayor. I've been here since 1980. All 3 boys of mine have graduated from here. I ain't going anywhere. I retired 3 years ago. I work at Ordway New Era now part-time. I like to get new business in town. We need new businesses. We got a lot of buildings sitting empty, and we've got to get them filled up. There's other things in town that needs to be worked on too. I was on the board for years and mayor pro tem for a long time. It's been a while since I've been in there, but I can get things accomplished. I know people, I know how it works, and I just like to see the town survive and not become a ghost town like a lot of these little towns are becoming. We need to let our elders and our seniors, which there's quite a few here, know what's going on. We've got to put it in the paper. That's all there is to it. It doesn't cost anything to put that stuff in the paper. We've got to let the seniors know what's going on in town as far as the meetings and other things that are happening. We have a younger generation coming up, and I have a granddaughter going to go to school next year. We've got to take care of those people too. So hopefully I can get everybody's vote and we'll go from there.
Hi, my name's Tony Moreland. I'm not originally from Colorado. I've been in Colorado 10 years between Sugar City and here. I'm retired last year and I run the senior center, and I want to get on the council to help get new businesses in town, and we all need to work together to get things done. Not just one person do it. It should be a whole group. You should work as a team, and we work for the citizens. The citizens don't work for us, and that's what I'd like to see happen. I'd like to see more of that and keep working together to make Ordway a better town.
I'm Ron Cisneros. I'm essentially the new guy here. I've lived in Ordway for the last going on 2 years. I'm originally from south of the river, so now I'm on the right side of the river, as I've been told. With that being said, in my previous community, I'm a firm believer in ingratiating yourself to the community. I volunteer coached every sport they had. I sat on every council or committee that I was asked to because of my kids participating. My daughter in the end of last year transferred to here at Crowley County and has thrived here, and I would like to give back to the community by serving on the board as a trustee. With that being said, I do think that you have to be vested in your community if you want to see changes. For the last year or so, I've attended every meeting. I'm currently on the Planning and Zoning Committee also. I've seen firsthand a lot of the challenges that Ordway does face fiscally, and some of the things that the current board and the mayor are doing to fix those and rectify those. New avenues to bring money in or continue to try and balance budgets, and I want to be part of that. I think that Ordway is a great town. I think it could continue to make improvements, and I want to give back to a community that has been so great for my daughter, because in our previous community, the difference in her night and day is extremely evident, and I'm thankful to the city and its residents for the change in my daughter.
So I'm going to open the floor to anybody who wants to ask a question. If you ask a question, let us know if you're asking it to a mayoral candidate or the trustee candidates. Yes.
Could you remind us all, I know the mayor position is up, but how many trustees are
There
up?
are 4 trustee positions. 3 will have 4-year terms, 1 will have a 2-year term.
Okay. And all candidates are here?
No, 2 candidates are missing tonight.
Okay.
They're trustee candidates.
Okay.
Over the 2 that aren't here aren't running, right? All the candidates are here, correct?
No, you have 2 missing.
Who's missing?
Mark Smith is missing and Rick Geppinger is missing.
Oh,
And Rick,
Oh, the girl? You gotta vote for me.
Easy, not easy.
I guess I'll listen.
Go ahead.
Can I just ask my question to everybody?
Yes, that's
Okay. My question is, I'm representing the Chamber of Commerce. I would like to say Ordway has a lot to offer. You know, we have doctor, we have pharmacy, I think we have a great structure to begin with. So my question to you is, what can we do as a town and you as a trustee or mayor to build that business community and build our town to make it a place that people want to move to? So if you have some ideas, I would like to hear that.
I'll go first on that. We worked really hard looking at bringing the business thing in. The small business cannot compete. We've tried with the box stores, everybody. We've reached out, we've given incentives. Right now we have a building where we're almost going to fix up and give rent free so we can get a business in there. The plan here in overseas where communities are really being successful is attracting, this is where people want to live. Retirees, the work for home, we have 3 or 4 businesses now that we're fortunate enough to get the new fiber optics that came in are doing some whole business type things. Retirees here. Make your town clean enough where people say, I want to live there. Retirees are what we know, retirees are wanting to get out of the city and move to rural Colorado. They don't want to move to towns that have 50 fallen-in houses, 22 trailers that are just abandoned, sitting on properties. So you have to have a town where people want to move to. The prison population wants to get out of Pueblo badly, the crime rate in Pueblo. We've had discussions there. We've had people inquiring about the loss we've already obtained through the condemnation program. We're working with a big packing plant now as the lead on that. It's a county thing, but for us to bring them here, we can sell them water and it'll be forever. And we're doing some EPA studies with our lagoons and stuff, so we're really excited about that. They want to do 100 beef a day. They're going to find out this summer on a federal grant. Trying to get small businesses to come in, it's just tough to compete with the Walmarts, the Targets, and et cetera, for someone to come in and open a business. That's why we looked around. Walsenburg, some other small towns are doing this incubation thing where they're getting control of the town buildings, and we just got control of the old pharmacy. And we're working on the old bar now to see if we can get some historical stuff there. They take those buildings and they turn them into booths. 5 or 6 people can come in and do their antiques in there. You give them a minimum rate, free rent. So if you have 2 or 3 buildings, you start getting a theme. You know, hobbies are separate. You get a theme where people know if I go pull off the road in Ordway, I can go to these 2 buildings. I can go through these shops. You can do those type of things. Another thing is, as ridiculous as I find, we're in the running for an electrical charge station uptown. So in case we have a station, no one may never stop, but if someone wants to stop, they can pull up to that electrical system, park their car, and they can go into the restaurant and eat or do whatever they want to do. So we're trying to do some different things there. The business is tough. Everybody says, I want a big business in the town. They're there. I mean, we reached out. You know, we've at the mayor things, we put things out in all these towns so people, hey, come to Ordway if you want to do a business. I'll wrap up. So that's kind of where we're at here as far as the business. We need to look larger than the small business owner. Just can't make a living.
Well, I think we're working towards that by cleaning up the buildings, the houses we've removed, and just getting the town to look more presentable, which is, to me, is going to draw more people in. We're working on, slowly but surely, we got to do some work at the reservoir, and we're working on that project. I can tell you, since I've moved here, the town looks a whole lot better today than it did when I moved here.
Yeah, I've been here a while now. The biggest thing I see is we definitely have needs. We just got to figure out a way of convincing some of these people to try us out. We are going to get that dentistry, correct?
Pardon me?
Did the dentist thing fall through? Or is
No, we're still working on the dentist office. So
that
I hit a bump in the road. This is good.
No, there's bumps, you fix bumps.
Someone bought the building that they were going to put the dentist office in. So now they're having to regroup.
Well, we've got other buildings.
And that's where we are on our old pharmacy too. That's came into play as becoming a dentist office too. So that's the answer to that.
And then we need some more professionals to come to town. It doesn't have to be anything fantastic. We could use a regular plumber on this side of the river. How many of you had to call and try to get a plumber? It's impossible. Yet we got all these young studs that are working for these plumbers. We got to get one of them convinced that he can go out on his own. Say, we got some electrical companies floating around. Why not have? Old boy out there, he seems to stay busy out on the north side. But we have all that stuff that's available. We just got to make contacts and get people going. We have the facilities they can use. Things are starting to come together. They're getting better. We've got prospects. Just a dog groomer even in town. How many has got dogs? You have to drive to La Junta and Fowler or Pueblo to get your dog taken care of. There's got to be some of these young studs running around there if we just figure out how to get a hold of them. We got the facilities, they can make cheap rent and fill their pockets.
From a younger side of the perspective is where I'm wanting to go, focus my energy is like with the kids, you know, we have lots of little kids that are bored during the summer. If we can like start a little thing where they can do lawn mowing services, you know, things like that too. That's what I would really like to see, these kids have some activities to do during the summer and things like that, and help our community with just, if we get the kids more involved, where people want to move here because their kids will have activities to do, things like that. I know because I have 2 grandkids, and you know, yeah. And you guys got the senior center, and I think it's great, and you know, but we need some more activities for the kids. I think that would really help the town if the kids had things to do. I mean, the water park's great and everything, but, you know, just some other things for them, so.
Well, I know at one time we were working on a swimming pool out at the ballpark. I don't know what happened to that deal, why it fell through. I think that would be a good thing for these kids around here. Yeah, it's a liability, there's insurance involved in it, but that's something we could work on. I know there's grants out there for this kind of stuff. There's grants for these buildings downtown to get people in here at a very low rate, if any, for a while. Get the community cleaned up. I mean, I drive around every weekend, and there's a lot of places that really need to be cleaned up, and we need to get it cleaned up so people will start coming into the community. The parks, I would like to see a pavilion at the South Park, like we have up here at the North Park, where we can have a band or whatever up there too. I don't know, it's just, I've been here forever, and things change every year, and we need something for the younger generation to be able to do. I even thought at one time, using old Mashburn's place, put a recreation area in there. You know, pool tables, foosballs, whatever, no alcohol. So that's something we can work on in the town as a mayor and the board. There's grants out there for all this stuff. I've checked on all this. There is grants out there for almost anything. You just got to work on it and get it accomplished. Go ahead. Thank you.
As Mayor Barber was talking about the incubator, where I came from, we did have an incubator, and it worked out really good. That's how you draw your businesses in. They're in there for a little while. After 6 months to a year, then they have to move on to another building. But we got to be able to have buildings fixed up to be able to have people move in. We can't have dilapidated buildings. And with me starting the senior center, and everybody's talking about the younger generation, well, that's my goal here. This is a senior center, but it's also for the kids too. We want to have dances for high school kids, junior high kids. We're even thinking about putting a pool table, foosball table, poker table, and all that in here. And I think the more that we have for the kids, it's going to draw the parents out, and the parents are going to see what's going on in town. But if you have something like that and nobody shows up, then you kind of get discouraged, but you can't. Because as a mayor and the council, you got to work together. One person can't do it all by themselves. It's got to be a group of people that do it. Not one person should make the decision. The whole council and the mayor should make the decision.
So to kind of piggyback off what has been previously said, I think that curb appeal is a huge plus. That was one of the factors that I took into account when we bought our house. As we went and we looked all throughout the valley, we looked in Swink and Lahana and obviously Rocky Ford and Manzanola, Fowler, and we really loved it here in Ordway. We love where we're at in town. There has been a lot of houses coming down. There are some buildings that need to be renovated, but as all of you know, in small communities, word of mouth is everything. I work for a small family business, and word of mouth that's our bread and butter. So to address what you were saying is how do we get people here is we have to personally have vested interest in there. Do we personally, as constituents, as the council, as the mayor, do we go to the doctor here, or do we drive to Pueblo? Do we pay a little bit more to get vaccines, or do we have the convenience of going to Walmart or King Soopers? Do we personally invest in our community? Are we willing to pay a few more dollars to keep our money local? Do we go out and do we tell the people that we interact with day in and day out, hey, why don't you come down to Ordway Pharmacy? You know, you can get your charger gear there. Or why don't you head over to Thaxton's and, buy bread there. You don't have to go to Walmart. You don't have to spend that extra, 30, 40 miles in gas to go there. You have to have a more of a commitment within your community to build it. I know people have addressed both our elders and our youth. I think you have to build a community that the youth want to come back to. Everybody goes out, everybody explores, everybody figures out what cog they are in the wheel. We've had people here on the board say that they left and they've come back. Something in Ordway touched them and made them want to come back. If we want to continue to build this community, we have to put that there in place for the youth. We have to have something that makes them nostalgic for home. But we also cannot forget who's made this community previous to them or previous to us. We have to ensure that we take care of our elders and the previous leaders of this community. We have to be all encompassing, and as a council, as a mayor, you have to look out for all your constituents. You have to make sure that not only are you holding each other accountable, but that they're holding you accountable. You have to have transparency.
Thank you. Yes.
Quick little short story before the question. My wife and I just sold a property here in Ordway not too long ago, maybe 6 months ago, and the realtor out of Lahana said this is the hottest market in the entire valley, and that homes over here will bring 20 to 30,000 more than they do across the river. Why, I'm not sure, but anyway, that's word of mouth. That's excellent. Two problems I see with Main Street and getting businesses and people in here. One is housing, and the partnership we got going on the housing over here, that's gonna help that. The biggest problem is we got people that own buildings on Main Street and have bought buildings on Main Street that are using them for storage. So there's not even the opportunity for a storefront to go in, and they don't seem to want to sell it or use it for the purpose it was originally built. Do you have a plan to address that?
So that individual you're speaking of, we've already went on two occasions that we went through the entire process and condemned property that he had homes on that were just caved in. He just finished his second one over on Arkansas. So that's the next thing is what we're gonna do on Main Street. We don't meter, so we have to get a policy in place, because I think they're attached to our system and don't pay to be attached to our system. So we're working and looking at what some other towns do that you have a business, you're attached into the utility system, but you don't pay toward the utility system. So that's there. So the question is, it's the same thing we do on everything else, Blaine, is we're just gonna have to, we do nice letters, letter after letter requesting, they fail to comply. The next question is, then we have to go to planning and zoning, and planning and zoning has to make a decision. Do we want to move forward on condemnation or pressure to make them fix it? They make that, and that's what we do. So planning and zoning approve it. Then we go to the next step where the board approves it. Once we have the documentation of the signed minutes, then it goes to the lawyer, and then the lawyer is a year, maybe? From point A, from the time you're done trying to be nice, please help us out, to the point where we actually, and then we get to the point where you see these houses around town being fixed. Those are from that process. They didn't respond to our nice letter. They got to the point where it is, we're either gonna tear it down or you fix it. So when you see these houses, the one on Arkansas, the one on Main, the one over here, those are being fixed because we've got to the point where the town attorney has said, and we have the court order that says, if we want to drive in there and start tearing it down, we can. There's a house on Arkansas we've given the guy, because we don't want to spend money on houses that can be fixed. We've given this guy 20 months, and we've had this documentation, and we're getting ready to do 5 more, and that's on that list. So what do? So we want to get things fixed, but we have to get to the point where the lawyer says, you know what, this is what's going to happen. Then they respond, and that's what's happening. So it's a reaction to what we're having to do. We have 50, 60 cases where we're actually going through that process, and get, even with lots that they don't fix in town. We've condemned 2 lots now that we're going to go in and start mowing them. We put an invoice on that property, we send them the bill, they won't pay, then we go through the process, and then the court gives it to us. We're getting ready to auction finish the process from start to end. They had Grassmick House going out on 3rd. We're now getting ready to auction that. So it cost us 15 grand from point A to point B to get rid of that junk, and now we have to auction that property.
I understand your housing program. I'm focused more on Main Street and the storefronts. And I know that there are some communities that have an ordinance that will, if it's an empty storefront for X number of months or whatever, that there's an extra fee applied towards that property to try to get them moving. And I didn't know if you might have looked into those avenues or not. To me, that is the biggest problem on Main Street, is everything's being used for storage, or you got one building that's been mentioned here where the owner, he's never going to sell it, never going to open it, nothing.
Never.
So it sits there and falls apart.
So that would be the condemnation program on the place you're talking about, the owner that won't sell. I actually think Karen may have something in the process to dealing with the Main Street. We've looked out, we research, we call other towns, what are you doing? What is your ordinance? And that's what we're doing right now is you gotta get everything in order before you can enforce stuff. You know that as a commissioner. So that's a top priority, to get that Main Street cleaned up, at least painted.
Yeah.
At least painted. So that's.
And that would make a big difference down Main Street. If every building was painted, it would make the whole Main Street look a whole lot nicer. Really would. Because there's 2 of them right there by me down there at the newspaper office 3 that, yeah, a good paint job wouldn't hurt them. So, and I don't know who owns the one by the combine. I don't know that gentleman. He's in there doing something almost every week. I don't know what he does, but he's in there doing something. But if we had them painted, would make this town look a whole lot better, especially driving down Main Street.
Anybody else want to answer the questions posed?
As far as bringing businesses in, I haven't been involved in that, but beautification, I know with the youth, especially the high school here in Crowley County, you have a vast amount of the students that are involved, and that's not the case in other communities around here. I know that National Honor Society and the FFA program have mandatory volunteer hours that they need to that are required to continue on in those programs. That could be something that, as a council, you could approach the FFA advisor or the NHS sponsor and say, do you have kids that need volunteer hours? This is what we are looking to do, and do we have any kids that could potentially help us out? It serves 2 purposes. It helps them achieve their required time. They have a vested interest in their community, and then you get a building that is not looking, dilapidated, and it's not an eyesore, and it's something that's it's beautification for your town, and it makes it more appealing. It goes back to curb appeal. Do you want to put your business in a place where you go and you look at the property and the the building hasn't been painted in 40 years or something that's been painted in the last 4 months?
I don't know a lot about the things that you were talking about, but I would really like to find out. I think it would be more like trying to find out who owns the properties, talking with them, seeing because I know there's a lot of elderly people that own a lot of those storefronts that probably can't run a business or run something in there. So getting with them, trying to because we have a lot of catering trucks that come up here and things like that, working with them and working with those people and working something out for that storefront to maybe have a possible store or something in it, that I think would work the best. Not just trying to have somebody give up their property or whatever, but yes, I think that's a great idea, that if they don't have a business or are trying to get a business in there, to figure out if there's some attachment that you can to up the, to make them, motivate them to put something in their building. That is a really good idea, and I would really want to get on the council to try to find out more information of things like that. And like he keeps mentioning, there are grants, there are things in our, not from our town, but Colorado, that we need to just, it's somebody who needs to just take the time to look up the things. And it's a lot for just the mayor or, that's why it's supposed to be a team of people. So, and each person has their, part to play to keep it moving forward.
So I guess I'd like to address those grants, and we have looked into those. The city was not in a good position. Audits were behind. We hope to have those caught up this year to where we can apply for some of these grants.
Awesome. That's awesome.
So the way those grants work though, as far as buildings, because we've already in place what has happened. We have drafted letters, we've got on some of these owners on these old towns from the 1910s, the historical ones. We've showed them how historic, they won't do individuals. The government has to own the building before you can get your grant money. So we've sent a packet to 2 of them just in the last 6 weeks saying, here's what we want to do, help us. Your building's run down on Main Street. This is what we could do to get a grant. Would you consider donating it to us? One, Lawrence Place, the bar on Main Street. We even offered, hey, if you donate it to us, we'll put a sign honoring your mom and yourself, some type of sign, neon sign or whatever, to try to get ownership of that building. So if you give us that building, part of the agreement would be we would put a sign on it honoring your mother, even you forever on that building. Please donate that to us. Haven't heard back. Of course, he thinks it's worth way a lot more than it's worth. And so we did get owners. That's how we got ownership of the old pharmacy. So the key is I see it as for us to try to convince them to get donated to us. It's not going anywhere. We can get ownership, then we can do the grant. Now depending on, I didn't start the grant on the pharmacy because those grants are hard to do, take forever, and I'm not going to start nothing that I'm not going to finish. I'm waiting till after the election. I would hopefully hear back. We're going to have a face-to-face with Lauren, his brother or nephew or someone's the lawyer handling the account, and out of Denver, so we have a meeting scheduled there. So places, Main Street is our biggest concern. We all know that. The key is getting the owners, getting ownership, and then getting the finances necessary to be able to take care of those buildings. Los Animas started a program, and a paint program, where they were able to do a small grant, community grant, and they hired some people to come in and they painted. They did houses around town, but our vision was to maybe get to grants. And another thing is we had to get permission to paint. We just can't walk up to someone's building and start painting it. We were going to do that to the bar when they paint, to try to get rid of that red. He won't allow us to do it. No, I'll paint it when it needs painted. And so that's another thing. You just can't walk up on someone's building and start painting without, again, going through the process that we have to do to say legally. And the insurance is the big killer. A lot of things came up about kids working. We've already tried. We can't even do the community service through the courts anymore because the courts dropped insurance. So when a guy has to do community service, they want us to take them, work them, and they're never on insurance. You can't do that as a town. The swimming pool we looked into, I mean, that was my goal as last mayor. I brought that up as a vision. I called Canyon City, shut theirs down. I talked to them, I talked to other towns. They're a loss.
And I think also, if I can add to that, I think a lot of times letters are nice to send to people. I understand that. But a lot of times it's better to people to go face to face and talk to these people. Explain to them, in a letter, people are gonna look at that letter and throw it aside. 9 times out of 10, that's what's gonna happen. But if you take a couple people and go talk to these people, not bully them, but go talk to them in a nice voice and explain to them what you would like to do to the front or what you'd like them to do. And if the town can help them, that's great. But if you go to them people and want to force them to do something, they're just going to throw that letter away. And to me, you talk face to face to somebody and you talk to them sensibly. That's how I think you get a lot done downtown.
Anybody else have a question?
Can I just ask you a question about something?
Yes.
Mr. Barber, in your letter that I received today,
Yes, ma'am.
you talked about the cemetery
Yes, ma'am.
and wanting to put in a sprinkler or a drip system. A drip system? A drip system?
Yes, so, yes.
Have you considered that this is prairie land? I was born here. My family's buried out there. I'm going to be buried out there. I do not want the grave sinking. I do not want the grass watered so that when we come on a drought, because water has always been an issue in Crowley County, that the prairie grass will not survive. And once you start watering it, the root system goes away, and then you have to keep watering it. It is a prairie cemetery.
Well, I would actually agree with you because first thing I did was my idea was we were going to sod the cemetery. Then I found out Ordway Cemetery's classified as a prairie cemetery. So I know everything about prairie cemetery because I thought initially we would just sod it and have a beautiful green grass cemetery, and we're classified as a prairie cemetery. You can't do that. The drip system is not to go next to the graves. It's perimeter stuff. A tree here, rose bushes here. There's not going to be a drip system where people can plant flowers and stuff on this. They're already falling down enough, the stones. So we don't want any more damage to things. The sprinkler systems, Annette and I traveled everywhere. We learned you don't want sprinkler systems in cemeteries because after years we noticed it wears off their names from their tombstones. So your parents that are buried now in another 50 years, when the sprinkler system's beating on their stone forever, it's going to wear down the stone, and then that's why you have all these stones when you go places that don't have the people's names on it anymore. It's because you have sprinklers that are wearing down the stones. The idea is the drip system is perimeter stuff, a tree here, flowers here. It's not a drip system where every family member can go and plant greenery and do whatever they want to do. It'll be, so that's the idea, is not a big thing. It's just to have some greenery. I mean, some flower bushes and some trees and so forth on the perimeter, but we don't want to be messing with that, with where people are buried at all. That would be a bad idea. So that's not in the plan. But I do understand prairie cemeteries because right away I thought, well, let's sod it and do whatever we're going to do, and you can't do that. I found out everything how you manage a prairie cemetery. Interesting that you asked that question. Because right away I was ready to go plant sod. I was already doing bids. I got Hopkins to come in and tell us how much it would cost to put in a sprinkler system and do our sod and everything. Is like, oh, prairie cemetery. You got to treat it like a prairie. So.
And I will say there are a lot of people that I know that want to be buried in a prairie cemetery.
Oh, yeah, I do.
So, and your letter evidently to me was not expressing that you were just going to do it on the cemetery.
Oh, well, so, okay. But anyway,
No.
no. And we're actually working with Pipeline 96 to tap into them to get water. That's the key, is where we're going to get consistent water. So we have to go to Pipeline 96 and go through the process on that anyway. And that would be your guys' idea. We would come to you and say, well, we have water, what's your idea? What would you like to do? Not me. your family out there, right? So you're already interested, so you're a good person, you're a good person to come and talk to. You can even take the lead if you would like.
I'm a really good Indian, not such a good
So anyway, you got a good teammate right there too, so anyway. So that's just an idea, yes.
I have a question. I guess there seems to be a lot of discohesiveness between town government and county government. A lot of he said, she said. How do we build a better rapport? What is your plan to fix the lack of rapport, I guess it seems to be in my point of view, or to build rapport with county government, or even also other town governments within Crawley County?
We'll start with Tracy.
I guess I'd ask, what are you hearing then?
Well, I guess just for instance, we were looking at purchasing property off of Sunset Avenue, right? And so it's not paved. My wife called and asked the town, you know, that's a big factor. When it does rain, it's probably not optimal to drive a car. She goes, oh, that's the county's problem. Call the county and they say, no, it's the town's problem. There seems to be a lot of that going on just over this past administration. He said, she said, I think it's a problem. You should be working together, unified, not separated. So one, if you didn't know that was a problem, I think it is. How do we fix it? And what's your plan to move forward for those new people that might get on to have cohesiveness with county officials?
I'm gonna jump in here because that's inaccurate information, because Blaine has guided me the last 4 years. Every time we've had a question I wasn't sure about, anything I call is the county and say, what do you do? What do you think? What's best for us? Always. I just called him 2 days ago and we had a discussion. So to say that there's a disconnect between the county and the town is inaccurate information, and I don't like it, because I'll tell you, he has been my advisor as mayor consistently, that I've turned to the county and to these guys and say, before we make a decision, what do you think? What's your idea? What should I do? What's your opinion? Always, consistently, I've always turned and called specifically Blaine and say, okay, because he's the main guy on the county. What do we want to do? What do you think? Consistently, that has taken place. In fact, I got another call tomorrow I got to call him about.
I would love for you to buy that house. Because I'm on the community board.
Yes.
Those roads are scheduled. The county will do the work. The city provide material this spring. Or not this spring, this fall.
Right.
But yeah, please buy it.
I guess I just want, is there a foster relationship? From my standpoint, as this, and there's not seem to be that, and especially in a small town such as this, where Ordway really relies on the county and county relies on Ordway to thrive. Because we need each other. We're not independent enough or big enough to manifest this stuff on ourselves. We can't do it. So I still believe what I believe. But anyway, I guess to answer, how do we foster that relationship?
Sure. I was gonna say, I thought we were doing a pretty good job talking to each other for the most part. Issues come up and we do talk. We don't always agree with each other on how we want to do it, but I mean, we rented from them for 2 years while we remodeled the building. I mean, we're always in some kind of convenient setup with each other. Now, who you got a hold of that gave you that information, I don't know, but if you talk to a board member or talk to a commissioner, they're not going to agree with that statement.
Well,
It was a commissioner.
it was a commissioner that said that statement, so.
So what is it, the town, or is it the commissioners, or is it Dean Hyatt? Because I'm hearing 3 different things, and that's where those houses. And there's a lot of people who live in the houses that are complaining.
So the roads though is, all of a sudden that was built and they want, how much is that going to cost to do those roads?
We can do that out there for, not counting our labor, which we never do, somewhere around 15,000.
But for us to jump in and do it right away, all of a sudden let's pave roads, is like, we have other, when taxpayers see a new house out there and they have their sitting over there on Sherman, and they have holes all the way down their street, and it's their turn to fund to do that road and be chip seal. And we want to take the people that's been there for years on that street, driving around those holes, and take that money and now put over here on the new housing section. You have to sometimes prioritize where your monies are going to go, and that's the case we were here. But we've got the streets. We've been working with Blaine on getting those streets done, so that's going to be a done deal. But sometimes you have to prioritize where you're going to put your monies or what you're going to do your efforts. You just do.
So can you answer, is it the town or is it commissioners or is it DNR?
On what?
For the pavement, to get it done.
It's done. It's on the plan. It's nobody. So the solution is there. They're doing the roads this fall. We brought in extra chip seal. We just brought in the extra chip seal this month. We just spent another $15,000, $18,000 on more chip seal sitting over there that's been delivered, ready to go over there.
Okay.
So it's.
I just wanted to clarify that because we were.
So it's done. It's going to be done.
Okay.
So yes.
Yeah, the county and all the cities in the county, we tend to have the equipment and a lot of times the men. So we don't step on each other's toes, but if there's a need for help, then we help each other out.
When they do their county roads, we send a crew out there to help them do the county roads, and then in return, they come to our town and they help us
Use their
And that's been going on before me.
Yeah,
That's been going on
So we
a
share.
long time, yeah.
very long time.
Up until this year, we used their big mower and the 12-foot mower. We finally got our own, but forever they allowed us to use their equipment. So, you know, they're allowing us to use their equipment, tear it up, go over our weeds and stuff. So the sooner we can get on our own, we want to try to get on our own. So that's why we got our own tractor and our own 12-foot mowers. So we quit using the county stuff and become more independent. The grader, we use their grader. We got our own grader now. So for years, there's always been that partnership. We would like to keep the partnership as much as possible, but we really don't like using their equipment. We don't think the county taxpayers as a county should be paying for equipment there and then we're using it in town. And the closer we can get it, we're close, I think, as far as the equipment picture. But it's just better not, we'll share our people all this stuff and we'll do work together, but I like the relationship with the county, actually.
Well, thank you again for clarifying because I just,
So,
you know, he said, she said stuff. They have to bring it out on the table. Anybody else have questions?
Oh, I guess, sorry, back to the audit kind of process, because I know it's been a lengthy process, like, when you guys are fixing or audit administration. What does that process look like? I guess, if you don't mind explaining that, and like have you guys tried, like, who's involved in it, just aside from you guys? Because.
So initially, Ruth was part of it. Here's what happened, it'd go back and we had to pull, the problem was the 941s. In 2017, 2018, somebody that was doing the human error, instead of bringing down the tax, they put the guy's whole paycheck and they put that in that 941. And then so that messed up for 7 or 8 months, and then it happened again, way before any of our watch. Right. Those mistakes were made. So those were mistakes when they were putting them in 9. We had to go back. I had a counselor for a week. We had to pull as many payrolls as we could, get off their Social Security deductions, et cetera, and find those mistakes. Once we found those 941s, then they were able to fix and get everything caught up. Then get to 2018. 2019 is done, and we're ready to go because DOLA came in and did a pre-audit. The thing keeping us from doing the reservoir was our past audits. They came in and said, let's figure out, because once you were not good with your audits, you're in trouble with the IRS, everything. It's just all based on your deductions, federal deductions. And once that was done, they came in and said, okay, you caught everything up this fall. We like what they went through, every files that Karen has done, credit to Karen, and says, okay, you're in a great situation. You can now apply for your reservoir grant this fall. So but that was a tough thing, going back finding 941s were put down where they had put down $897 Medicare deduction when it was $87 or whatever was taken out of the check. We had to go back and find all those mistakes in those 941s in Medicaid, Social Security deductions were the wrong numbers. And then the trickle-down effect, and she fixed them for 2 or 3 employees, was it messed up their taxes. See, so it was all that. She was part of that mess.
But we had to hire an accounting firm to straighten all that out.
Yes.
So that the auditor would even look at it.
And amazing, there's 37 towns like us in audit issues around the state, yeah. And this is one of the major companies, Fromm and Associates, that fix these towns. And when we had our meetings, they said, boy, those past mistakes way years ago were bad. I mean,
And they were holding taxes back.
Yeah, then, yeah, it cuts off funds to the city.
So I guess my question is, so when you guys came into office, the 3 of you, we were 3 years behind on our audits. Now we are currently 4. You say the 19 audit is done, but it's not submitted to the state, correct?
Right, because we've been taking care of it.
So now we're 5 years behind in our audits. I guess the new council or the new people, I would like to know, what do you guys want to do to fix those fiscal problems? Because it is way worse now since the new council's in there than it was before. So what do you guys want to do to fix those
We need to
things?
get them done. That's why we have employees in the office, so they can get them done. Because the county has a lot of money up there for us. That's money for the town. Why haven't they been done? I don't understand that part. You know, I mean, I know it's a process to get it done.
there's no one at this level that's going to fix those books, period. You can say, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. You were involved in it, you could have passed the 2018 for us. So that's what happened to our roof. So anyway, that's the deal on these audits, is no one at this level is going to fix it. The books are with the person that can fix them, period. And you can say what you want about audits, but that's the thing. You say, well, we're going to fix it, the new council. Yeah, we couldn't fix the past council audits. That's the thing, and we've been trying to fix it and fix those books, and that's been a problem. I don't do the books. I'm not an accountant. None of these parts are accountants. Where are they going to come in and say, hey, Fromm, the person that fixes the audits, you're done, you're fired, we're going to bring it back here, and I'm going to fix it? That's not going to happen. Be a realist. The person that's going to fix our books has our books right now, and they're being fixed, period. And that's what's going to happen. You may not like the timetable, but they're getting done, and they're getting fixed. And that's the truth. And that's the thing. You can come down and look.
Question to the new member.
Okay, the question was directed to them, we're gonna let them answer, and then we can go over
I'm
to you.
done. I'm fine.
There's a company out there that does do the audits. And they need to get them done. Not necessarily the office or the mayor, but I don't understand why they're so far behind. You know, I mean, the money's there for the town. They can use that money. We need to get them completed somehow or another. I know there's a company, an accountant company or an audit company that does it. They need to get them completed. Go ahead, Tony.
Well, I understand about the audit, I mean, and I'm not gonna refer to Sugar City DeVita, but I shouldn't. But I think it's called Edie Bailey. Is that the name of it that does the audit? They sent them out and it took them forever to send them back. And they're still not caught up. And I understand once you get behind, you're behind, but then we gotta get, stay on them people to make sure they get them done. Because actually, if I'm thinking right, you can't even do your budget really until your audit is pretty well caught up. Am I correct? Thank you.
So,
I'm sorry. No, I'm done, sir. Go ahead.
So, as I said before, for the last year or so, I've gone to every town council meeting. I've sat in and I've listened to the progress on the budget and the audits, and I know that from those meetings, Karen has worked to to no end trying to get this done for this prom company. And at every meeting, there's an update. And it says, well, and I don't remember the guy's name, I believe it starts with a J, but I could be wrong. Well, Kyle, yes, sorry, Kyle. He needs this paper. Karen sends that. Well, Kyle said he needs this paper. Karen sends that. Karen fixes this, Karen fixes that. And I am not currently on the council, so I don't know all the intricacies of what happens, but the name that comes up all the time is Karen. So if I were to be elected and put on the council, then I would do everything in my ability to help her. I don't know what capacity I could help her, but I would be there to help her. And I'm not, and please don't misconstrue what I'm saying. I'm not saying that the current council does not help her, because like I said, I don't know the complete inner workings of that, but I would be another avenue for her to utilize in any capacity that she could. But as far as them not getting the things done, I'm not an accountant, I don't know, but as being a consumer, if you're paid for a service, I think that you need to do that service. And as I've said at those council meetings, Karen says, I have the 2019 done. It just needs to be okay. I have 2020 completed. It just needs to be okay. So if you're paying this company to do that, then they need to do it.
May I say something? It's easy to point fingers. It's easy to say it's all Karen's fault, it's all anybody in the office's fault. But instead of pointing fingers, help out where you can. I mean, I'm not an accountant. Lo and behold, if I didn't have a treasurer for here, I'd be in trouble. But we can, as a council, mayor or whoever, point fingers, then nothing gets done. Well, it's her fault, or it's your fault, or it's his fault. Instead of pointing fingers, let's get a solution, get it all done. Simple as that. That's the way I look at it.
I say that, so the trustees, they're required 2 meetings a month and all this, but like I said, I want to help our community. So however I can be available for service, however I can help, when I have time to help, I would like to be there. I mean, I just want to help. I want to help the community. I want us to get going. I want my grandkids, I want my youngest to come back after she gets her veterinary degree, is what I want. She's now at Adams State. She's gonna go to UCCS because they actually have animal science. And I keep telling her, we need a veterinarian here, babe. And she's like, Mom, that's what I want. I want my kid to come back here. I got one kid to move here from New Mexico. She's a nurse. She's going for her RN. I want my baby here too. And I want her to want to come here and open up a veterinary practice here. And that's what I want, so however I can help to get this town to where she wants to come back, that's what I want, so.
The books are the books. That's what it is what it is. It's just, so that's just, we're excited. We think we're going to be done maybe by this fall. So that's our goal, to have all of them done by this fall. So that's our hope. That's what we're told. So should start rolling. That's what we're excited about.
I have a question. Yes. About the sale of the water or to the grow operations. Is that recoverable because they're not growing anything out there?
So there's 1 meter for the town that's tapped in, and the water goes through 1 meter. So beyond that meter, they use water. They have some residentials. There's still some grows going on. So it's pay as you use. So that's why we went out and started looking at this beef packing thing, because the town was going to lose the revenue over the closures of grow houses. So we went and recruited these people. They need 30 acre feet a year. So part of that process is renegotiating our Department of Wildlife Twin Lakes water contract, so we maintain enough water at Twin Lakes that we'll never be short. As long as we keep those 30 acre feet at Twin Lakes, the packing plant will always have water. So that's how we'll make up revenue from the loss of purchases out there. But it was 1 meter, so just depending on how much they use, we bill the receivership as how we send them a bill and they pay, and then they collect and do shut-offs and enforcement and all that. So that's what's going on with the water with the town and the grows.
My question is on this beef plant deal. I think it's probably a really good deal, but you're robbing from Peter to pay Paul. Let's say the grow industry comes back. Are you going to have the water to handle that as well as the packing plant?
Yeah, that's separate because that's Fall Wells water. The water up there is federally controlled. It'll come down. So we may be able, but that water, we're not using any water from Twin Lakes for the grow houses. That's all, we're ahead. That all comes from Fall Wells. So that's the water there. So that'll always come out of Fall Wells. In regard to Fall Wells, we pulled 4 pumps today. They're sitting for 4 days, and we're going down with cameras Friday to get a look and start the repairs and see what we can do at Fall Wells, because we could get 125 acre feet a year and we're only getting 90. So we're going down Friday, and we're gonna get a look and let's see what's going on with our Fall Wells. But currently we've had really no issues between, we would want them to come back because we could get water to give it to them for us. So we could go out and buy from Agra. If we were ever short water, we could go out and actually buy from Agra now. We can get water if we ever needed it to make more money.
Well, I'd hate to sell out one industry to support another one.
No.
Yeah, the water for the packing plant couldn't be used at the grows.
Because it's Twin Lakes.
And they actually told us too, which excited me, we could, since it's tied in, the packing plant into our municipal system, they could actually use our Pueblo Reservoir water for the packing plant too, which was kind of exciting. The concern we have right now, we have meetings, is EPA has to come in and they're doing some studies concerning lagoons and everything, because the plan was to go from there across to the lagoons there, but EPA has to do a study and make sure everything will go there. So we contacted Fort Morgan, found out the process, what hurdles Fort Morgan had as far as their packing plant. So then we found out we need to work with the EPA, and so we just sent the email to EPA, and they're supposed to come down and take a look and see if it's even feasible. It might not even be feasible. First thing we have to do is have EPA say, yes, you can have a packing plant. No, you can have a packing plant under our lagoons. If not, then the packing plant's facing a $2 or $3 million wastewater plant system to process their own. So that's where we're at as far as
So
the
the
packing.
water would go from where to the lagoons, the ones we have now?
Yeah, there's 2 lagoons down there that aren't even used. So they would run a pipe down there. The people with the chemicals told us that was no big deal. They could easily, would not cause no issues. But where we learned is, we started at the bottom, and that's where we took a break after Karen calling Fort Morgan, is hold on a minute, you have to go to EPA. So we're not gonna know anything at all till EPA and the engineering study, and they'll approve it. It'll be a county deal, it won't be, we're just facilitating. I don't know how we ended up, I guess the water, we're kind of facilitating everybody being together. But in the end, it'll go through the county. They're trying to stay out because they have to stay neutral. Some of the decisions they have to make coming down the road, county commissioners have to make. So I tried to drag them in, and they told me, hold on a minute, we have to do some voting down the road. We don't want to be involved. So hence, that's why we're doing the EPA and we're doing some of the groundbreaking stuff.
You know, oh, sorry, go ahead, Brian.
No, it's just the EPA study and the engineering studies is the company funding that? Hopefully the town isn't.
Yeah, they're gonna pay, we're not gonna pay for it.
Okay, good.
You know, I live by the sewer lagoon, so I'm pretty much concerned. In the current situation, there are days when it's almost unbearable living by them sewer lagoons. Is there any plan in place to make them smell better during the summer?
It was first we heard of it right now, Terry. To be honest, right?
No, I've heard it before.
But I had, yeah, we had that chemical guy was here the other day, so they were going through the chemicals, so it's a chemical thing. He says he comes every 3 months.
I can't believe you can't smell them.
Yeah.
Well, I never know if it's the feedlot or the lagoons or everything, so I'm like, the smell's the smell. To me, smell is smell.
If you need an expert, call me, because I know everything odor out there where I live.
It would be nice, I mean, we'll see what happens, Terry, as far as, we don't even know if it's feasible. So I guess the question is, let's get an answer first, and then we can make decisions from there to even say, hey, is this something we want to do or not? Because they're going to go south to Albany Springs too, as their secondary spot.
Can I comment on that? As a worker at Hotel Ordway, it is really, really bad for business in the summer when it smells like that. We can tell when it's the sewer or the feedlot. It smells like your septic's backing up. It's not good. And we've actually had guests complain of that. And if I can help in some way on figuring something out, like I said, I really just want to get in there, figure out where I can help and how I can help. Because right now I feel like I'm just standing on the outside, don't know what I can do to help and where I can help. And so that's what I really want to do. I want to get my feet in the door to help. And that's all I want to do. I'm not saying anybody else is wrong. I'm not saying anybody else is slacking. It's a lot. It's a lot for our town to get picked back up. And that's why I've got a lot of energy, if you cannot tell. I want to help. I gotta help. I need to help. And I want to help our town. So
one of the things, I guess, that I could add to this is I worked for one of the largest slaughterhouses in the world prior to moving back to Colorado. And one of the way that they mitigate smell is they would pump into the ponds, and they had silicone tarps over the ponds, and they would trap methane. And then on certain days, which were really, really bad, is they would burn the blood. And I know Mayor Barber said that potentially this could be 100 head a day. When I was working at National Beef, they would do 3,600 head a shift. So it's exponentially more odoriferous. Well, with that being said, when you go into slaughterhouse and stuff like that, it's always going to have those problems. But those are some of the things that they would do to try and mitigate, obviously, the smell. It's never going to go away because it's a byproduct of meat processing. But that's one thing, or excuse me, two things that possibly, that they could look at doing. I don't know what their budget is or what they have in the works. And one of the other things that they did is they would, after they burned the blood, they would ship it out in a tanker.
So where we're at out of town, and quick, second option is south Albany Springs. We're going to sell water to them no matter where they're at. Okay, we're the water provider. They're facing, if they go south to Albany Springs, if they choose this county, they're looking at a $2 to $3 million manufacturing plant. What brought the discussion up here was, well, possibly you could go across here to our lagoons. We do the study, see if it works. So that's kind of the status we're at. Do we want them in the county? I mean, if they want to build it, they're kind of hesitant on the $2 to $3 million processing plant down there, wastewater plant down there. So to entice them more is they were showing some land out here, et cetera, et cetera. So that's kind of where we're at on the two options. Will they even come into the county? I think we need them personally. It would be nice if we could get a nice business in here. Jobs, 60, 70, 80 jobs. So that's where we're at as far as their choice. Down by the ranches, south of Albany Springs, where they have to do their own plant, or can EPA clear them here, and the community and the commissioners and whoever say, you know what, having them out here will work. Let's do it here. So that's the study that's taking place now. That's where we're at. So,
is there a timeline on it?
They're supposed to hear on their grant this summer. they're up for a multi-million-dollar grant to do the manufacturing and stuff for them. So that's a big play for them. They believe they're going to get it, but that's their timeline is to get to grant in this summer. They hope to be up and running by next year. So a lot of variables.
John, you may remember way back when, I think you're probably the only one that would know, there was a big push to extend Main Street to the highway.
Yes.
There's a lot of infrastructure grant money out there currently with what
That can extend it on out there.
the federal government's done. I know we got a lot of work needs done within the town.
Right.
I don't know, we don't have a major rail going through anymore.
Right.
So
The only problem with that though, Blaine, I think, I mean, I'm trying to picture it, is with Ben's gas tanks out there. I don't know if that's gonna interfere with it or not. I'd have to go look to make sure, but that would be an excellent thing, to have Main Street go all the way through town, up to the highway. I mean, everything else comes through, you know, but yeah, I remember that. Well, I think, I don't
Just
know.
so easy driving down the road if you don't see a clear entrance.
Right, yeah. Like I said, well, like you said, that was a long time ago, so. I know I don't know if we was, remember trying to work on that or not, but yeah, that would be a great idea, it really would. To extend all the way out to the highway. As long as Ben's gas ain't, you know, his tanks out there aren't.
No, I don't think they are.
So I'd have to go look, because I can't picture it right now, but yeah. So, yeah, that'd be something the guy could work on too. Yeah.
Any other questions? So I guess I will let each one of you have 3 minutes to say something in closing if you would like to.
Success the last 4 years, I believe. I mean, the record speaks for himself. The amount of things that have been done from the town improvement has been tremendous. I mean, I like where we're at, where we're going. I think I can keep us going in that direction. I'm comfortable either way, win or lose in my life, so I'm in a good place, but I just know that we've got a lot on the table when we look at the files and we look at the ongoing grants and the mission and where we want to go and the monies we're trying to get and our status on some things is we're in a really good place, and I just like to keep those going. So have a good council right now. Our planning and zoning has been really great. And see everybody, they make the decisions. Planning and zoning, he'll tell you, we make the decisions. They go to the council, they make the decisions. And then as the mayor, I'm the one expected to enforce and keep that mission going, and I think I've done a good job doing that. So we're good at researching, we do nothing without acting. I confer with these guys, I confirm with the county for direction. They'll say, what direction are we wanting to go? Are we on the same page? And we've been on the same page. I like where we're going. We can improve. You can always improve. It's easy when you sit here and you listen to people's ideas and things like that. Oh yeah, maybe we need to do that. Like her idea, people think we're going to do the cemetery, so we need clarity there, better communication. But we're in a really good place. We have a really good team. I see no reason to do a whole lot of wholesale change. I don't know what else you want difference. We've been open door. I know how many, Tracy alone has daily, he has 2 or 3 conversations with people. He brings it to the council, it gets put on, and we say, okay, what can we do about that? So I think there really is a pretty good communication. We want to let the town lead us, and that's what we have. The junk cars came from the community members. We had 5 people come in and said, hey, we need to do something about all these junk cars deteriorating our streets. That came from 5 citizens from a 2-3 block area. We looked at it, and sure enough, we had over 60 cars that were just sitting there, flat tires, no license and everything. You drive down the streets, you don't see them, except I saw one today I got to get after. But other than that, we've done simple things to make your town look better. You drive down the streets, I mean, we're getting a nice town. It was been deteriorating for so long that nothing was happening, that we just keep going. Trailers, people leave a property with the old trailer home and it just sits there. I mean, we had 22 trailers, 1976 or older, that were just sitting around abandoned. So we just want to keep continuing what's good for this town. And if they win, hopefully, I anticipate they're just going to inherit the files. And they should go forward with what we have in place even. Because we're in a good place.
I would agree with the mayor, and whoever gets elected's got to keep it going. I mean, town already looks better than it did. I work at the bank, and I've had people asking about the open lots that they see from the old houses, if they're going to be available to put houses on. So I think the city's in a good position. We've got the bank accounts are in good shape. Just got to keep going.
That would be the general consensus from probably everybody on the board right now, that we think we've got headed in the right direction. We're getting little things done. We may not get everything done, but everything has been getting better and better, and the more we get done, the more we have left to do. It just seems like it's always growing, but that's why we're there, to make the decisions, good, bad, or indifferent. Everybody won't agree with us. We just got to do what we got to do at the time.
Well, I would like to just be on the city council because, like I've said, I really want to just help us. I want to be an ear to hear and listen to everyone because, like I said, it's a team. And I know I've seen a lot of good progress in the last 4 years, yes. And I want to be a part of that continuing forward. And I don't want us to go back. I enjoy seeing the houses that are getting fixed up. I enjoy seeing things that are getting done. But there's some other things that I feel, you know, I mean, they've already got a caseload. I feel that we should try to find funding to fix our sidewalks. Really, I walk with some elderly people because they need that exercise. And we have to walk in the middle of the street because she walks with a walker and we can't take walks down the sidewalk. And, you know, that's really, I mean, if we could get something, because we need something to be able to walk around, that really brings appeal to the town too. You know, I came from New Mexico, Farmington. They had a river walk. You know, we don't have a river, but we could have, like, you know, a nice walking area in front of our homes. That would be great, you know, so we can have our exercise, so we can take walks. That's a really big thing for me. But, and like I said, one more thing. I just want my kid to come back. I want her to come back. She's gone off to the big city, and I want her to come back here. And I want to make our town a place where she wants to come back. So I have my kids and my grandkids grow up here because I really do like Ordway. And I'm really glad my youngest got to experience from 8th grade high school here because I just think she just got so much. I'm just so proud of her, and I really want my grandkids to grow to school here and be raised here so I can just, I know there could be something so great. Yes, you can have. Sorry.
You know, the mayor and the board have to work together as a team, not as an individual. People, yeah, the last 4 years we have seen some stuff. The next 4 years can even be better. You know, people should be able to come to the board meeting, see what's going on, and like I said before, we've got to let the people be notified what's happening. We can't just put the stuff on the website because a lot of the elder people, the seniors, they don't have a clue how to work any of that stuff. You know, posting it on the door, that's great too, but they still need to be notified by the paper. Yeah, there's things that could be done around here, and that's, like I said, I drive around every weekend. I see things that's going on that could be accomplished. If I get in, we'll get that accomplished. I have 4 years to get it done, and it may be sooner than that. But like I said, the board and the mayor have to be a team and work together. The mayor may suggest something to the board, but the board will make the final decision. Not just be a yes sir and no sir type of person. Every time something comes up, just don't say yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. I've been down this street before, I know how it works. So the next 4 years, if I can get in, we'll make it better for town, for Ordway. You know, we'll get stuff in here to take care of it. Take care of the town. Beautify the town a little bit. So, that's all I say. Go ahead, George.
Thank you, sir. Well, what I'd really like to see if I get on council, is the downtown be beautified a little more. Talk to the people one-on-one that own the buildings instead of sending letters out to them. Letters fine, but they're gonna throw it away. Also, what Blaney brought up and John Love about extending Main Street, I never thought of that, but that'd be a good project down the road. You know, I have a saying that I've always said that, you know, you gotta have fun at what you do. And on the council, it can be fun. Yes, it can be hectic, but it can also be fun. If everybody's working together, it can be fun. And you play as a team. That's what the council and the mayor needs to do. They need to play as a team. And then everybody wins in the end. You know, if we work for the community and help these ladies in the office as council people and mayor, everything will just kind of flow together. It might take time, but then the community knows what's going on. And that's how I feel if I become council person. Thank you. I'm not done. No, I'm just kidding.
So, win or lose, I still want to help Ordway any way I can. I would still stay on planning and zoning unless I am elected to a trustee position. With that being said, I love where I'm from, but that is not my home. Ordway is my home. I want to see the community thrive. I want to do anything I can to ensure that. I think that the current board has done well because that is my only frame of reference for Ordway. I think we have a tremendous Parks and Recreation department. I think the school district is doing a phenomenal job. Like I said, I'm from south of the river, and now that I'm here, it's a different thing for me because I'm used to losing to red and white. Like I said, I will always love where I'm from, but this is my home. I want to serve Ordway in any possible manner that I can, whether I'm on the board or not. I would like to attend the meetings for the county. I don't know if that's possible. I would like to do that. I think that being a board member, and I know a few of the candidates have touched on it, is you need to be a steward of transparency. We do have people, not only the elderly, that aren't very good with technology. I myself am not. I know the basic things that I need to do to accomplish my job, but I'm a low-tech redneck. I'm a big fan of interpersonal communication, and I think we need more of that. I think we need more one-on-one conversations and less digital conversations. Yep. I know AJ is here and he may not agree with that, but I do think that technology has its place, but we have become so reliant on technology that we've ostracized a lot of people that don't depend on it. And being a part of this council, or any council, is that you need to be accountable and you need to foster a relationship with your constituents where not only do they have or feel that they have the ability to come to you and address any concern, but that they have the faith and the trust in you that those concerns will be genuinely dealt with.
Okay. Well, I want to thank everybody for coming out this evening. Thank you, Adrian, for covering this.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
From the Ordway Senior Center for the candidates for election for the town of Ordway, I'm Adrian Hart with your Southeast Colorado News.